We're on Shabbat, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Vav, the 6th Mishnah in the 3rd chapter of Shabbat. The Mishnah is going to talk about a lamp, an ancient lamp. So here you have a picture of an ancient lamp. And you see it's a pretty messy affair, okay, because it's lit over here, but the wick is sticking out and it's dripping all over the place. Olive oil, I once heard a Planet Money topic about this. Olive oil or any kind of oil, was incredibly expensive. People were incredibly poor. They wasted nothing, as we're going to see in coming Mishnayot. That being the case, what happens if your lamp is dripping? Says the Mishnah. And we're going to talk about this Mishnah is going to talk about Hilchot Muktzah. Okay, different kinds of Muktzah as we shall see. Ein notnim kli tachat haner lekabel bo hashemen. If your lamp is dripping, okay, and so you don't want to lose the oil. It's very, very precious, very expensive. I cannot take a kli, I cannot take another vessel, another utensil, and stick it under the lamp, like over here, it's dripping over here, or it's dripping here, in order to catch the oil because I want to reuse it. I'm not allowed to do that. Why am I not allowed to do that? The Bartanura is the following. Mishum deshemen muktzahu. The shemen is muktzah. Let's stop for a second to talk about what the word muktzah means. You think muktzah means I can't touch it. Well, some people think that. I don't know what you think. Okay, that's not true. Muktzah means huktzami machshavto. It's been separated or taken out of consideration from a person's thoughts on Shabbat. Meaning, if I have something that I have no intention of using on Shabbat. It's just not in my mind. I've decided I'm not going to use it on Shabbat. Chachamim say you're not allowed to touch it. Okay? Therefore, since I have no intention of using something on Shabbat. Therefore, that's what makes it muktzah. So there's a lot of reasons why something would be muktzah. Let's say I don't use it on Shabbat. I don't touch it because it's too expensive, or it's disgusting, or in order to use it, I have to violate an isur. There's many different kinds of muktzah. Okay? But here the shemen is muktzah. Why? Because the oil in this lamp was designated for lighting. I didn't want to eat any of the oil. I don't want to use it to dip. I already designated in my mind for the malacha. Therefore, it's huktzah. And if I put something under the lamp in order to catch the oil, then what's going to happen is then it's going to catch the new kli, the new cup is going to catch the oil, and the oil inside will be muktzah. And the Bartanura says, asur levater kli mehechano. This cup before Shabbat was mukhan. It was usable. But if I put in muktzah oil in it now, then it's going to be muktzah. And I can't take something that was usable before Shabbat and make it muktzah. Kolomar, meaning, lahoshiv kli b'makom shelo yuchal od litlo misham. I can't put a kli then in a place where I can never take it. Havelei kovea makom, because then, if I can't move now, if I put this cup there and it's under the oil, I can no longer move it. It's kovea lo makom. I'm establishing it in a place. It's as if I'm cementing it in. V'dami lemalacha. It's like a malacha. Ukli zeh, and this new second cup, this utensil, mishi yipol bo hashemen, when the oil falls into it, muktzah. It'll become muktzah v'asur l'taltal, and therefore I can't move it. So therefore, that's why I can't put a kli tachat haner. I can't put a kli under the oil under the candle to catch the oil because it's mebatel kli meichano. But if I put something there to catch it from before Shabbat, that's permitted. Why? Why not? Why wouldn't I be able to put something from beforehand? Because in that case, I'm not mevatel kli meichano. It was never ready from before Shabbat. It was ready. It was something that I prepared in order to catch something, which is muktzah. Similarly, the Mishnah says, ve'ein ne'otin mimenu. Ein ne'otin hana'a. Let's say the lamp goes out. I say, I got all this olive oil. I can use it on my pita. No, you can't. Why? Lefish eino mina muchan. This is the concept of muktzah. It wasn't mina muchan. It wasn't ready for my use from before Shabbat. And since it wasn't ready for my use before Shabbat, that's muktzah. It's muktzah. It's muktzah. It's set aside lahadlaka, for lighting, not for eating. New case. Metaltli ner chadash avalo ner yashan. Let's say I have a lamp. This lamp is not lit. Okay, before it's lit. A lamp, unlit lamp. Here, Aladdin's lamp. It was made for, here we go. Lamp. Okay, I have these lamps from before Shabbat. Am I allowed to move it or not? Says the Mishnah, if it's a new lamp, I am allowed to move it. Avalo yashan, but I cannot move an old lamp. Why? The Bartanura says, what's the difference between a new and an old? The new lamp is eino ma'us. It's not gross. I can use it to hold my jelly beans or whatever. Avalo yashan, but I can't have an old lamp. The muktzah machmat miusu. The old lamps, once you lit them, they got all gross, right? They become blackened and disgusting, and nobody would use an old lamp. That's muktzah from beforehand. That's called muktzah machmat mius. Rabbi Shimon says, Kol hanerot metaltelin, chutz min haner adolek b'Shabbat. You can move any ner, except for a ner that was lit on Shabbat, okay? That is lit on Shabbat. So let's look at the Bartanura for a second. Rabbi Shimon says, chutz min haner adolek b'Shabbat, when it's lit, it's asur. Zera shema yechabeh. Maybe it'll go out. V'leit leila Rabbi Shimon Muktzah machmat mius. Rabbi Shimon doesn't agree with this idea of Muktzah machmat mius. V'lo Muktzah machmat isur. Nor does he hold the Muktzah machmat isur. The Bartanura adds, V'ein halacha Rabbi Shimon shematir letaltel kol hanerot. We don't pass it there, Rabbi Shimon. You can move everything. Why? Shener sheidliku leleilei Shabbat. Let's say you lit your Shabbat light and then it went out. Afa pishikava. Even though it went out, asur letaltelo kol otor Shabbat. We don't pass in that once it went out you can move it. Why? There's a principle that that we pass in like the migo it katzai leben hashmashot it katzai lekol hayoma. Once something is muktzah ben hashmashot, once it's designated as not in your mind on Shabbat, it's it katzai, then it's muktzah for all of Shabbat. So therefore, if you lit the candle, once the lights went out, then you can't move the candles. And that's why, let's say, if you put your candles on your Shabbat table, you can't move the candles afterwards, even after it went out, because of this principle. Migud it katzai leben hashmashot, it katzai lekul hayoma. But other nerot, but other lamps that you didn't light, that are just not used, then halacha k'motzo, she'en muktzah l'Shabbat, ela muktzah machmat chisaron kis. Bartanura says, we don't hold that these lamps are muktzah unless they're machmat chisaron kis. They're very, very expensive. Okay? In that case, Rabbi Shimon would agree with that halacha. Next halacha. Notlim kili tachat haner lekabel nitzotzot. Let's go back to our ancient lamp. The lamp is lit, and now instead of dripping oil, it's dripping sparks. Okay? And it's dangerous, and you're afraid. So the Mishnah says you're allowed to put a kli in order to catch the sparks. Why? Well, the Bartanura says, because the Bartanura says, the nitzotzot ein ben mamash. Okay? Where am I? Nitzotzot ein ben mamash. The nitzotzot, they don't have any substance to them. And the ein akli mivutal mehechano b'achi, because the kli is not going to be mivutal, because it's not catching anything, it's just protecting. But what can't you do? You can't put water in the receptacle to snuff out the nitzotzot, because in that case you're putting out the lights. You're doing mechabeh. You're putting out the sparks even before they touch the kli, and you're not allowed to do that. That's kiboy. That's a malacha isur deoraita. Just want to point out the Bartanura says this means even me'erev Shabbat. You can't even put water from erev Shabbat, because if you allowed you to put water in the kli under your lamp on erev Shabbat to catch the sparks, then gazrinan erev Shabbat atu Shabbat. Then we are afraid you do it on Shabbat. Ube Shabbat yavi abid hachi. Haigavna, if you did on Shabbat, havi mechaber v'chayav, then you violate the isur deoraita. Therefore, he says you can't do it on erev Shabbat. It's worth noting this is a big machloket. We shouldn't talk about it. It's not worth going into. Rashi says you're not worried about it. Rashi says you are worried. Tosfos said you're not. You can look it up in greater depth if you so choose. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, you can email me, and we'll dedicate the learning of this mission to memory of my father, of Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.